So what are the data types that are available in DAX? Like in other programming language, here also we have something like whole number, the integer, decimal number, and currency and date time. Okay, DAX only has one integer data type. It can store up to 64-bit value. All the internal calculations between integer values in DAX also use 64-bit value only. Please remember this. Next one is decimal. Decimal number is always stored as a double precision floating point value. Okay. Fine. Next one is the currency. It's a fixed decimal number in Power BI. Okay, right, it stores a fixed decimal number. Okay, it can represent 4 decimal points, and it is internally stored as a 64-bit integer value divided by 10,000. Okay, so you just think, this is your fixed decimal number, and this is your decimal number, normal decimal number. It takes the values anywhere between these ranges. Integer takes the value anywhere between these ranges, and decimal and fixed decimal number takes the values anywhere between these ranges. And the date time, underneath the covers, the date time value is stored as a decimal number type. So look here, it supports days from March 1, 1900 only, starting from March 1, 1900 through to December 31, 49. If you try to store any value lesser, before this date, or any value after this date, it will not work. So, and then we have text data type. The text data type is a Unicode character string, and you can store the value in this range, and then true or false is your Boolean data type. Okay, and then blank, the data type is blank. We have something called blank, and it's stored as NA means not available. If you have any blank value in your data set, it'll consider as a blank. And then you have another data type called table NA, represent table in the data model. Okay. Next, we will take a look at the operators, arithmetic operators. These are the common. So, what are the other programming languages? Most of the operators are same in DAX. So, arithmetic operator. If you want to perform any addition, plus 3 plus 7, minus, multiplication star, division is this, and exponentiation. If you want to exponentiate the value, you need to use caret symbol here. And we have the logical operators like a double ampersand. Okay, true, double ampersand, true equal to true. And if you want to use OR, for example, if the region is equal to south or the region is equal to north, then for OR you need to use double pipe. Okay, and then we have something called in is available. This is a logical OR. It creates a logical OR condition between each value. Channel name, in you can specify multiple conditions. So only the channels we sell it in store and online and catalog. I want to see the sales only for these channels. In that kind of situation, you can use in. It is called also kind of a logical OR only. And this is your logical operators, and or in like other program, and or not, they will be using it, right? So here also we can use not. And other logical function is switch in DAX. This is the syntax for switch. The first argument is your expression value, and instead of writing nested if else, we can use a switch. We don't have to write if else. It will be pretty straightforward. This is the syntax for this one. The next one is variable, how to define a variable. It is too earlier to discuss about variable. We'll discuss this a little later about the variables. And then we will take a look at the different types of DAX functions that are available. So under these categories, different DAX functions or aggregation functions. For example, you have something like one second. You have something like sum function, sum x function, and you have something else called average function, average and count function. Even in the count itself, so many functions are available. Count A and count AX and count AX. Likewise, right, the family of functions are available under count itself. Even in average also same thing, average X, something like that. Sum X. So these are all aggregation functions using which you can summarize the data. Rounding functions. If you want to round the values, you can use a round function. You have something like round up, round down, and ceiling, floor, those kind of functions. Logical functions. Apart from this, you have logical functions are available. Okay, the logical functions are all available, and information functions are available. What are the information functions? Information is something like, is blank. If it is a blank, if you have a blank value in your column, it will return true. If you don't have blank value, and if you use is blank, if this returns false, that means it has some value in it. So these are the examples for information. And then we have filter function, table function, relationship function, text function. We'll start with exploring the aggregation function, which is very simple to learn also. Okay, we'll start with the simple one, and then we will get into the advanced DAX functions like calculate, all function, and all except, all selected, all those functions in the later session. We'll try to see if I can cover that one also in today's session. What I'm going to do, I'll jump right now into aggregation function. In the aggregation functions category, we will explore the count family of functions. Okay, just give me a second, I'm getting a call. Now we will continue with the count family of functions. So in the count family of functions, we have something like count function and count A. So these are the functions that are available: count function, count A function, count AX, count blank, and count rows, count X, distinct count, and differences between them with use cases. Let us try to understand. Okay, so we will let me just open the, we have some already. I have this one in the previous batch. I gave a demo in this. I'm going to open that now. It takes a lot of time. See, one of the basic but also important functions are the aggregation function. What is aggregation? In simple terms, summarization. For example, let's say I have a column by the name of sales. I want to sum the entire sales column in order to obtain the total sales. So in that case, we use sum function. Like sum function, the count is also one of the commonly used aggregation function. Okay, so now let us jump into the different types of count functions that are available in DAX. So we have a count function, count A function, and then we have something called the count X function, count AX function, and then next one is distinct count, count blanks. In this many number of functions are there. So these count functions exclude the blanks. See, for example, I have a column by the name of let's say a region. In the region column, I have south, north, east, west. How many number of values are there in region column? If I do count, let's say 8 regions are there, right? The count will return 8. But in my data set, in the region column, apart from the 8 regions, I have a blank values there. In total, I have 9 values are there, including blank. But when I use count function, it excludes it doesn't take into account of the blank value. Okay, non-blank values, it counts. Simply it counts how many number of records are there. 8 values are there in count. It simply excludes the count. And then we have something count A function. Look here, counts only number of values in a numeric cell or column or column or column, numeric cell or column. But it excludes the blank values while counting the number of values in a column. The next one is count A function. And one important thing which you need to note down here is if you have a Boolean values, okay, and if you have a Boolean values in a column, it will not do the count. Okay, it is not taking into account of the blank values and also Boolean values. So what is the Boolean value? True, false. It will not do the count. But If you have Boolean values along with numeric values and categorical data, it will do the count. But only the Boolean value, it will not count. Mute all. Why are you getting any noise? Oh, okay, better. I will mute it. Thanks, Aruna. Okay. So the count function counts non-blank values, and also it ignores the. Oh, you're getting. Oh, okay. You're getting some noise. Let me just check. What is a count function? Count function, it counts the values, non-blank values in a column, numeric cell column, and also it ignores the Boolean values. If you have only Boolean values in a column, you cannot use count function. It is as simple as that. The next one is the count a function. The count a function counts all values in a column, including text, and numbers, dates, Boolean, but it does not count blank values. As the name says, A, it counts all the different data types related columns. Okay, it counts the values from any type of data except blank values. Okay, it ignores the blank values. That's why I put here excluding blanks. All these functions simply exclude the blanks. It considers only the non-blank values. But count A, it works with all data type. Whereas the count x function, the x, any function that ends with x, that is called your iterating function. Okay, it counts values in a column for a table set or filter table. It counts numbers, strings, dates, Boolean also, but it excludes blank values. Okay, and okay, but it right. So only Boolean values it will not count. In the case of count, the count x. Okay, and in the case of count ax, counts all values in a column for a table, excluding blanks. Okay, it's like count a and count ax. It is more or less like the count a and count a is like your count. Count ax is like your count a. All data types it can work, but it excludes the blank values. But with the ax, what is the difference between a and ax? So you can specify the expression based on some condition. You can do some kind of count. That is the difference between count a and count ax, and we will see with the demo, so that you will be able to understand the difference between each and everything. The next one is we are left with three other functions: distinct count, count blanks, and count rows. These functions includes the blank value. Okay, supposing you want to see how many number of blank values are there in a column. In that kind of situation, the count blanks function is very much important, and counts distinct values in a column including blanks. The distinct count. The count rows counts the number of rows in a table. Even if you have blank values, it counts the total. So if you want to know the total number of records in a table including blank, then you can go for count rows. Now what we will do is we will import the data into Power BI, and we will do that. So already I imported it, and let me just close this because of the memory problem. So many things I opened it. Yeah, it has opened the other file in the meanwhile. Yeah, I can hear some disturbance, right? Somebody is talking. This thing. Give me a second. I'm not sure where the noise is coming. Anyhow, let us look at this. This file is open now. Let us quickly explore with this one. See, already I loaded a data by the name of sales by customer. We will just go and see the data that are available as part of sales by customer. Just give me a second. External noise. Okay, right. Now we will take a look. Look at here. So in this simple table, I have already 5 columns are there, and each column what value we have it. You look here in customer's name, we have one blank value is there. All right. So we have a mix of text and numeric value. Since the based on the precedence, right, order of precedence, even if you have a numeric value along with the text value, entire thing will get considered as a text data type. And in the units sold, we can see some blank values, and this is your boolean value, and this is the thing we can see it. I just click on customer. Look here, these two columns are same only, it has the same value in it, but there is a difference here. So in this case, what happened, I just used if condition. If the customer name, if the customer's name, yeah, this one, right? So sorry, this is a new column I created it. If the customer's name column is equal to empty, this is blank, right? So empty string, I just put empty string comma blank, put blank. Explicitly I assign blank to this one, the empty string. Only then it takes into account of the count. Okay, when I do the count, distinct count or count blanks, it considers that one also as a blank. Otherwise, it doesn't take into account of this record as a blank value. There is a problem here. It is not a problem. So for the text value, text data type, if a column has a text data type, if you have any blank value, it considers an empty string, something like this, empty string. It is not considered a blank. Got it? So you need to remember this point. See, certain things looks very simple, but in real time scenario, we used to break our head even for these kind of small things. And so to figure it out, where the problem, why it is not counting the blank value, even though we could see blank value, why it is not taking into account, right? So we spend a lot of time. So but here I showed you everything. It's a plain vanilla for you all. So look here, here the column name, I just go to the view and let me just select column profile. So here it shows me count 10 records are there. In customer's name column, 10 values are there. That's what it shows. It is taking into account of, it is not taking into account of this blank value, right? So we have 10 values are there in this column. In this customer's name, we have 10 values are there, but one is a blank. But still, while doing the count, it considers this also a record. Why it is not a blank? The blank function is not assigned here. Hence, it's considered string. Since it's text data type, since this column is text data type, it considers this as a string. Look here, empty string 1. It considers instead of considers as a blank value, it considers the empty string 1. We don't have any 0, and distinct is 7. Okay, what is distinct here? The unique values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and sorry 1, 2. So you are not supposed to count the duplicate values. That is what distinct. Baron, you need to count it only one time, even though it appears more than one time. Okay, Baron one time, Larry one time, blank empty string one time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So distinct. Now you understood how to do data profiling, how to interpret this value. Distinct. What is unique? Unique is 6 here. So it is not considering the repeated values. For example, Larry appears only one time. Okay. Since Baron appears more than one time, it is not unique. It simply ignores that. And then the blank value 2, 22, this one appears only one time. So 3 and 4, 5, 6. So hope you understood the difference between distinct and unique. Okay. So next we will go to the init sold. Init sold, it shows 10 records. Okay, but here we could see some error here, error 1, and sales we could see. Let me just replace the error, replace values error by some 0. Since it's a numeric variable, we can sorry, not replace values, replace error 0. Okay, done. the same thing. Okay, so other things. So this is my Boolean data type. So here it takes into account the count function, it takes into account of all these values. 10, it shows 10 including null. Okay, error 0, but in the DAX count function it will not take into account of the null. This is Power Query editor. Okay, and empty is 5 and the nulls are empty, and distinct is 3 here, and unique is 1 and true is 4. Okay, so I'm going to say close and apply. This column was not visible in my Power Query editor. Why? This is the calculated column. I'll just show you how I created this one. So we had only 4 columns in this table. Okay, I created additional column. For this column the basis is this one, this column. I just simply copy this the function here, and then what I do is I just click on column tools and then new column, click on new column. This is how you can create calculated column. In the calculated column, the same logic I'm going to put here. What this logic does is, this column will have the customer's name column's value, but for the empty string it assigns blank. Sorry, here I say customer 1. Okay, since customer was already available, if I assign this outcome to customer, so now look here, the same thing, but to show you how I created this column, right? This is how you need to create a new column. This is called your calculated column. Okay, fine, now we are done. So now the question is, why should I create a duplicate of this column? Because customer's name is a text data type column. In the case of text data type, even if you have blank value, Power BI will not understand, or it will not consider blank. Instead it considers an empty string. So what I am doing is, wherever the empty string is there in this column, you replace it explicitly by blank. But whereas in the case of other data type, you don't have to do it. We saw in the Power Query editor, right? So wherever the blank values are, it was assigning null, but here we did not see null. Okay, so now we did enough data cleaning, all the things. Next what we will do, we'll go back here, and then we will see the difference between each and every function. What is count function, what is count x function, all those things. Here I just count ax, count x, where is the count function? A count function. What I did, I just created a measure called count sales. How to create a measure here, I just show you once how to create this is called your measure. So how to create a measure? If you want to create a measure, there are 2 ways you can create it. Click on the modeling, and then click on the measure, new measure. This is one way of creating it, but if you do it this way, right, the measure may become part of some other table. The other way of creating the measure is, just locate your table name. In this table I want to make the measure as part of this one. Just next to this table name you will find 3 dots. This is your ellipse. This is called ellipse. If you click on the ellipse, you can see the context menu. I want to create a measure here. Click on new measure. This is another way of creating measure. My intention is, whatever the measure I created, I want that to be part of this table, not the other table. But in real time scenario, we create a separate table to hold all the measures in it. That we will see it later. That's what you can see sales same. Okay. Look here, I just create here. So you can give whatever name on the right side. So listen, I create M1 count function. Count the total number of values in sales column. Okay, I just press enter. This, it will take some time. So we don't have any error since it is creating this measure as, look here on the right side, you will find count sales M1. Count sales M1 got created. This measure got created. I wanted to see the value that is part of this measure. So what I do is I will click on 1, 2, 3 chord, and then I just drag and drop this measure count sales M1 here. 6. So I just go to sales column. So how many values are there here? How many number of records are there? So 10 records are there, but it counts only the non-blank values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The remaining 4 cells, we could see a blank value. Hence, count is ignoring the blank. Got it? It counts the total number of values in a numeric cell, that to the numeric cell, and it excludes the blank value. So that's what we have seen it. Next one is the count A function, count A measure. Look here, when you click on this visual, the chord visual, it automatically highlights the measure, the corresponding measure used in it. You just click on the count A measure on the right side. Count A, customer column, I'm doing it. Okay, count A function works with any data type, text, number, any data type. So here it shows the customer column, we have 9 values are there. In the customer column, we have 9 values are there to exclude the blank value. Okay, what I am going to do is, for you people, I will just show you customer's name, right? Instead of using customer, if I use customer's name, see, when you type the column name, right, automatically it gives you this drop down kind of thing. You don't have to type the entire column name. If I use customer's name, it includes the blank value also. So in this case, what happens? Power BI misunderstands that, or it takes into account of the empty string also. But according to us, it was a blank value. According to Power BI, that was a empty string, because it is a customer name column was a string data type, text data type. Because of which, what I did, I just created a new column by the name of customer. Here I was checking in this column, wherever you find empty string, because a text data type, it will not consist of null, right? So empty string, I put explicitly the blank, null. When you use blank function, null will get assigned here. Got it, right? So in this one, we have assigned null here, whereas here the null is not there, it is considered as an empty string. This is very much important, you need to remember. That's what I demonstrated now. Got it? So here I use customers. We need to close it with the parenthesis, because count A is a function. The function should follow with the open parenthesis, and it should have the closed parenthesis, right? The open and closed parenthesis, inside this you need to specify your column name. So count A works with string data type, text data type. The count function worked with numeric column. So look here, the count sales is a numeric value, and next one is count AX. When I click this one, on the right side you can see that the corresponding measure got highlighted. When I click on count AX, it will show you the script or the DAX query which I wrote it. So count AX is a function. The first argument is your table name. Please remember, whenever you use any function that ends with X, that is called your iterating function. For this iterating function, the first argument is table. Okay, this is very generic one. You need to remember, any iterating function, it takes the first argument as a table. is a table name. Table name is sales by customer, comma, sales by customer. This is my expression. Okay, sales by customer active. So take this column. I have Boolean column. Okay, I just give the Boolean value here. Count AX. It counts all values in a column and it exclude the blank value like count a function. Okay, so now we will go and check it here. In the active, how many non-blank values are? 5, right? It exclude the blank values. So 5 non-blank values are there. That is what it tells us. But the advantage of count AX is, we can use the along with the table name, you can use the column name, or for example, active equal to true. If you want to give some condition, you can give it there. This is an expression. Okay, you can use an expression as part of your count AX. X stands for expression. Either expression, or you can specify the column. Act is equivalent to true. Sorry, true, right? Count AX, we have only 4 trues are there. Let me just check here. No, actually it is a single thing only. Let me see. Sales by customer active equal to true. Okay, it should be single one. Let me just, if I use quote, it will not work because it's a Boolean value. Maybe because of, yeah, it is throwing something here. So I have used some other thing here. We will, so we'll look at this one. We'll refer to, since there is a syntax error because I did not put any value here. Let me just do one thing. I'll just live with this one. Okay, I'm not going to do anything here. You can specify any, but the first argument for any iterating function or the function DAX function that ends with X is a table. Okay, the first argument. And we will take a look at the count AX filter measure. Yeah, I think here I used it. Count AX filter measure. This is the one. I just clicked on it. Yeah, count AX filter function. Yes, you need to use a filter function. The filter function, filter is another DAX function. Inside the count AX, I'm using a filter function. Even the filter function, the first argument is a table name, comma, look here. So if you want to filter anything, you need to use filter function explicitly, correct. And then you need to specify the column name, which column you want to sales by customer. Okay, here what I am doing is first filter the data set based on this condition, and then what you do is find out the total number of count in the customer, active customer. I wanted to find out how many number of active customers are there. You understood? I intentionally wrote like this. So basically I want to find out how many number of customers are there, but that we have already found it, how many number of customers, using the customer column. Okay, but I want to find out how many number of active customers are there. So in the case of count AX, I use the expression here, filtering condition, and then I can specify the column name. So if you see here, if you go back and check active, how many number of active customers are, look here, true is barren, and true is barren, and true is 22. Only 3 customers are active, but this here it is a blank. Okay, the rest of them are blank. Only 3 customers are active. It is currently doing correctly. So using count AX function, you can specify the expression also. The count X measure, I'll just show you, this is the count X measure. So here I just since count X function also ends with the X, it is an iterating function. What do you mean by iterating function? It goes and counts the values row by row. So the first argument for any iterating function is the table name followed by the column name. Okay, so count X. Okay, can I use count X for a Boolean data? Which one is a Boolean data? Active, right? If I use active, let us see what happens. We have a column by the name of active which has Boolean value in it. Can count X works with the Boolean data, Boolean column, it works with a column which is of Boolean data type. Let us check that one. Look here, it throws an error. You click on see details. The function cannot work with values of type Boolean. So what I said was correct. So count X function works only with non-Boolean data, and also it excludes the blank values like count function. So even count X function also works with numbers, dates and string data type. Okay, so that is what you need to keep in. But the count function works only with the numerical variable, whereas the count X works with string, the text, number and date data type, and except the Boolean and blank values. It will not take into account of blank values. It's not going to work with Boolean data type column. So now you understood the difference between count and count A, count AX and count X function. Okay, next one is a blank count. I just select this visual, and then when I clicked on this, automatically the measure which I used it for this visual got highlighted or it got selected. If I click on it, you can see the function count blank. The customer count how many number of blank values in the customer name column. It shows 1 here. Look here, there is a contradicting thing here, right? So maybe it is a bug or I don't know, right? So look here, when I used count EAX function or count X function for, say, look here, this is a count EA function, right? Count EA function works with customer column, but when I use the count EA function for customer's name, it was taking into account of the empty string also, and it was showing me 10. It was not considering the empty string as a blank, whereas in this case it considers the empty string as a blank. There is a contradicting thing. I don't know whether it's a bug or, see, count blank also should not show any blank value because it is a string data type column. It's a text data type. Text data type, anything blank, it considers an empty string. Okay, so probably you can watch my video about this one more time, because if I repeat it multiple times, it will be annoying. So next one is blank count. So here is blank count on sales. Okay, the numeric variable. Blank count, yeah, customer, same thing. So this is what is this blank count? Not this one, blank count, right? Count blank customer's name. Okay. Sorry, sales column. Okay, so how many number of blank values are in the sales column? In the sales column, 1, 2, 3, 4 blank values are there. See, all the blank functions, right? It counts the blank values. A simple thing. The count already we excluded, and yeah. So the next one is sum function. when I click on this, look here I can see sum M. This is the measure I used it. When I click on this sales column, find out the total number of sales. Here it shows 10. Why it shows 10 here? Sum function, right? Here sum M, I'm using this one. Sorry. So here sum sales by customer sales. Sales is a numeric value, right? Let me select this one. So whole number. Okay, maybe I need to extend the size of this one. Let me go to the format and see are there any problem here. Word wrap or data label. Let me reduce the size. It should actually do the sum of sales, something like that, right? So total sales. Let me just click on this 32k. So here I use something called sum M. One second, this is sum M, and even for this I used a measure. Oh, okay, I used measure here. Count rows, sorry, this is count rows. How many number of records are there in this table? Okay, I chose the wrong one. So that's why you need to have patience. When you click in a hurry the visuals, right, it will take some time to highlight the corresponding measure. You need to have patience. Look here, I just for this the corresponding measure. Here I used the count rows function. Count rows gives me total number of records in the table. So 10 records, right? That is what it shows, irrespective of the blank values, right? It takes into account of the blank values also. And sum M function, this is where it does the total sum of sales. Sum 32,000 and odd. Okay, it's correctly doing it. And sum X function, there is see in the interview they'll ask you the difference between sum and sum X. Sum X is an iterating function. So the any function that ends with x, that is called your iterating function. The first argument suppose your table, and second argument it can be a expression or it can be a column name itself. In this case I just specify the column name. Here the filter function returns a table. So what it does is, see in this case the sales more than 8,000, only take that records, right? The filter function returns, see for anything more than 8,000 it could be more than one record also. In that case filter function is very much helpful to return the table matching to this condition, and then find out the total number of units sold for this condition. So here it shows 32. The sales value anything greater than 8,000, how much is there? So anything greater than 8,000, so this one and 3 records. What is the corresponding 10 plus 12 plus 10, 32, correct, 32 units sold. I will share this. So this file is also available in my GitHub, but still I share it to your WhatsApp. You can download it and start practice this one. And next one is average X. All the functions are available. Just to summarize what we discussed as part of count family function, the count function count the number of cells in a column that contains numbers, dates and strings. The count function will not work with the Boolean data type. The count function does not work with Boolean data type, whereas the count here function count the number of cells in a column that contains numbers, dates, strings, including booleans. It works with that. That's why we call it A is all. It counts the number of values or cells for any data type of a column. Okay, but count here function does not count blank values like count function. Even count x and count x does not count blank values. The count x function counts the number of cells in a column that contains numbers, dates and strings. But the countX function does not count blank cells and Boolean values. But if you have the Boolean value with the numerical values and categorical data, it will count. Okay, but if you have the only Boolean values in a column, it will not work, like count function. Okay, and the next one is count AX, counts all values in a column for a table. Okay, count AX. Even this one also works with number date string, and it works with Boolean also. So that is the difference between count AX and DX and count. Count function, count X doesn't work with Boolean, whereas count AX work with all the data type including Boolean. This all, this doesn't, require any summarization. It's a pretty straightforward. So distinct count, distinct values in a column. It considers the blanks also when it counts the distinct values. The count blanks counts the number of blanks in a column, counts the number of rows in a table. So that's what we discussed as part of the count family of functions. And you just review my videos by going through on it. In case of any questions, you can ask me. Any questions so far? So next weekend, yes, we are going to wrap up the DAX and we'll start the SQL server part. Okay, since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session. We'll upload the video shortly, and okay, you can take a look at the videos after an hour or so.